It's the final percent. The final percent.
All right, welcome to Final Percent Fridays, and I think it is about that time to just do a recap on how did this all start? How did the final percent come to be a thing? And it really stems from me. I did my first speaking engagement, and I tried to get my message out there, and I was trying to get these cogent thoughts, and I was really looking for a idea to rally around that could wrap all of my experiences together, because it is an interesting thing becoming an entrepreneur and realizing that you're an entrepreneur and trying to manage people and coach people and move things forward, move your life forward. And I had spoken a few times, and I had these ideas like the snowplow principle, the circle of S's, and then I came upon this idea of the final percent. I went, oh my gosh, that is what I'm going to rally everything that I do around. And that comes from a trip that I took to Wyoming. And if you have not seen the totality of a solar eclipse, I really, really encourage you to go through it, because it is a absolutely transformational experience. And my nephew, who does he's my producer. We got to get a camera back there so they can see you, so you can just do a quick little sallow wave. But he and I have both seen the totality of the eclipse, and it's really an interesting thing, because you're sitting there, and if you don't know this, for all intents and purposes, for us on Earth watching this thing happen, it actually takes a lot longer than you think it is going to take. It takes about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and you're sitting there, and you've got those stupid little glasses, and you're looking up, and you're looking up, and you're looking up, and then every time you look up, it's just like a crappy version of Pac-Man is appearing in the sky. And so you're looking up at this thing, and you're like, okay, like, is this as magical as I thought? But something happens, because us as humans, we're impatient creatures, right? And so we take off our glasses, and we're looking up, and then we're blind for a little bit, because apparently it is really, when the doctor says don't look into the sun, they're not kidding. The sun, turns out, is kind of bright. It is a bright object, and it doesn't matter how much of it is showing. So it got all the way down to 98% covered. Of course, I tried to take off my glasses because I'm impatient. I want it to happen quickly. And no, the sun is still there. The sun is still bright. It got down to 99% covered. I take my glasses off. I look up again. And it turns out you still, even with 1% of the sun, it is too much for your eyes to handle. And what I realized at that moment was, holy crap, this is an interesting experience, because when I put the glasses back on, there's just that sliver, and when the glasses are on, you can see just the tiny sliver of the sun showing. You're like, wow, just that little bit is producing that much light. That is an incredible experience. And so what happens is that final percent, you can see where I'm going with this, that final percent goes, and we get 100% coverage. And you can take off your glasses, you can look up, and you see a glowing orb in the sky. And the temperature drops by 20 or 30 degrees, and it looks like 9 o'clock on a summer's night, 360 degrees around. It looks like the sun had just went down. And you're sitting there, and you just know something special has happened. And what I realized is that 1%, that final percent, was literally the difference between night and day. Was literally the difference. It made all the difference in the world. And so after that final percent happened, I came home, and I was like, man, I just had this transformational experience. It was crazy. Did you watch the eclipse? And they said, yeah, it was crazy, man. It was so cool, man. Holy crap, man. And I was like, oh, you went to Wyoming and you saw it? And they're like, oh, no. We had 98% coverage. And I was like, oh, man. And then I went to another person. I said, hey, did you see it? Oh, yeah, I did. Oh, you went to Wyoming. No. It was like 98, 99% covered here. And I was like, oh my gosh, they didn't see it. They have no idea what I'm talking about. And that's when I realized that final percent was the exponential part of life. But it's so much more than that experience, because if you're 99% of the way there on being the best husband you can be, I'm telling you, go that final percent and watch what an exponential marriage looks like. If you're 99% of the way on feeling committed to your craft, your passion, your job, whatever it is, if you're 99%, 95%, but the problem is in education today, we are taught that, hey, 90% is an A. 90% is good. 90% is passing and you get accolades. We're not taught that 100% is where you want to go. And so you get to 95%. Well, now you have an A. You get to 97%. Now you have an A+. No, you're close. And if you're that close, why not go the rest of the way? It's only 3%, but it makes all the difference in the world. It makes all the difference in your marriage, in your life, in your learning. And I'm going to make you mad right now, just so you know, when you're on that treadmill and you say, hey, I'm going to go for an hour, and you get to 55 minutes, and you're going to be like, that's good enough. But then you're going to remember me saying, and I'm saying, just imagine me running right next to you and say, hey, just go the final percent. I'm telling you, that final percent in all things are going to add up to an exponential change. And that's what the final percent is in a nutshell, because it permeates every part of your life. It permeates the way that you train. It permeates the way that your health. It changes the way that you speak. It changes the way that you execute everything, because so many people are so focused on how do we start? How can we start? Let's get to work. Let's start this thing. Let's do that, because starting's fun. It's exciting. It's new. It's different. It adds a variety in your life. But most people don't finish. And it's not necessarily how you start, it's how you finish. So you can start slow, but if you get to 100%, you get to 100%. And you're going to find out what that exponential part of life is. And so the next time that you tell yourself, hey, I'm going to do 33 push-ups in the morning, every single morning, do 33 push-ups and do them just for 1 week in a row, and see how much you don't want to break that chain. Because it's going to start to become a habit. You're going to start to feel good. You're going to make different decisions throughout the day. I'm telling you right now, it seems maybe innocuous. It seems, I don't know if that really works, but go the final percent in everything that you do. Go the final percent, especially with your marriage, especially with your self-development. Go the final percent and see the exponential change in your life. And it's going to literally change everything in your life. It's not just, oh, I feel better. Oh, my marriage is better. Oh, my business is better. Your life will absolutely exponentially change if you start adopting this principle of the final percent. And all I'm asking is, all you can do is the best you can do. And sometimes, check this out, sometimes that means that you failed that day. If you say, I want to make $10,000 today, and you worked your butt off, you worked every lead, you did not leave anything on the table, and you did everything you could, and you made $3,000. But if you went the final percent that day, that does not mean you failed. That means that you went the final percent, and you probably planted for tomorrow, and you're going to get that harvest. Not everything happens on your time frame. That's out of your control. All you can control is your actions and your attitude. And if you have an attitude of, I'm going to go the final percent, and if you have an attitude of, I'm going to take action until it's completed, I'm going to execute, I'm going to go the final percent, I'm going to reach triple digits, that's 100, I'm going to go 100% of what I can do, I'm telling you right now, it's going to change your life forever. Thank you so much. This has been Final Percent Friday.
It's the final percent. The final percent.